Are you looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this football and basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections for a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and injury insurance on your picks are what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million players who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/bluewire and use code BLUEWIRE. That's code BLUEWIRE at prizepicks.com/bluewire for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
Support for this podcast comes from Frito-Lay in the 2023 Snack Bracket Championship. The Frito-Lay Snack-It Challenge is underway, and fans are voting on their favorite snacks to crown champion. We're talking about prime-time matchups between the best 64 snacks in the land. Will Ruffles Ridges reign supreme? Can Doritos defend their dynasty? Or will Smart Food use their smarts for a surprise upset? Only you can decide. Get in on all the action for a chance to win up to $1,000 or a year's worth of snacks. Let your snacks be heard. Just go to fritolaysnacket.sbnation.com to vote and enter for a chance to win. No purchase necessary. Sweepstakes ends April 3rd, 2023. Void where prohibited. Year's worth of snacks awarded in the form of 52 coupons, each good for 1 bag of chips. See official rules at fritolaysnacket.sbnation.com.
Happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome to Mavs Moneyball's Shock Therapy. Time to welcome Kyrie Irving to the Dallas Mavericks. He was traded earlier today for Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, what I understand to be a 2029 first-round pick and some second-round picks. Woo! Lot to think about. A lot to think about on this one. I was actually at Mavs Moneyball's Doyle Raiders baby shower with Josh Bowe and a number of other people in the kind of Mavs adjacent media community. Really something to be in a room full of people. I had my phone put away because of the social situation, and then all of a sudden, all the men in the room are looking at their phones. So it was really something. Peter notes that we got Markieff Morris as well. I forgot about that one because I was, he's the Morris brother I think about less, right? I always think of the one on the Clippers. Anyhow, so nearly 170 people and popping in here. We can talk about how I feel about these sorts of things and the trade and really, what we're doing. I'm looking forward to your thoughts. So let's try to keep it relatively brief, and we'll move as many we'll move through as many people as possible before my wife gets back from what she's doing, because I don't know if she knows that I'm doing this. Coming up first is my man Sam. How you doing, Sam?
Hi, can you hear me,
Kurt?
Kurt?
Thank you for joining.
All right, if I sound like shit, just let me know because I'm in my car driving.
Fine.
So, obviously, I was hesitant. I still am hesitant, to be honest. But at the end of the day, this is the guy that we need. First of all, we can actually have a guy that can actually shoot free throws when we need, instead of Luka. We can just have Kyrie. So that's one. Two, this opens up space. So if for some reason we don't sign Kyrie, we should have some cap space to do something in the offseason.
If we don't re-sign Kyrie,
it's fucking Kyrie. We got another ball handler that could potentially give us 30 to 40 every night. And if we play our cards right, they'll say, hey, you know what? They got Luka and Kyrie. Maybe somebody else wants to come to play for the team this year or next year. So, all in all, you gotta play hardball. Sometimes you gotta take the risk. I like the risk. So let's just see what happens.
All right, Sam. Thank you for kicking us off.
No problem.
You too. Okay, coming up next, let's go to my man, Mr. Ramundo. Welcome back to the show. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on?
Welcome. Thank you for joining us this Sunday afternoon.
So, everybody excited or kind of just nervous about what's about to happen? But what do you think?
I think both. Like, what's the You're an older man like me, don't you? I remember. I'm thinking of the episode of Saved by the Bell where the one chick accidentally tries speed and she gets. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so scared. That's
You just think
that's
the
my feeling.
drop, like everyone's so hyped and up, and Kyrie wagon. But I kind of see this as what we need to do. But then on top of that, I see it like, okay, we got him out. We kind of mix up the roster. I think the roster really doesn't fit around these two other than Josh Green. Bullock, I guess, fits a little bit, but I don't think Wood fits anymore. With them two, I just don't see it happening. So I think he's gone.
Yeah, I'm going to be, more minutes for Josh Green, I think, is something everybody could get very excited about. He's going to have to take a bigger role immediately. I'm very disappointed to see Dodo go, but he was basically the piece if they were going to trade for anybody. I'm a little concerned about the number of ball handlers this team still has, because they went from having 2 ball handlers to having 2 ball handlers. And for as much, Kyrie's played more games this season than he has in a long time for a variety of reasons. But he's still a smaller guy. He'll probably need the occasional game for rest. Like, the Mavericks still need another handler. So I'm not sure what this team looks like this year. They already can't defend, so my sort of initial inclinations to bitch about the defense don't matter, because they couldn't defend in the first place. So it's not like this is really changing that. Kyrie's actually pretty good defense this year. He's a capable, willing athlete. It's a matter of focus. So I don't know. I'm the on-court product is certainly going to be must-see TV.
Okay, so do you think Wood is gone, or do you think he's going to stay a Maverick?
I think before the trade deadline, I bet they kind of keep it now. I don't know why. That's my first reaction. But if they were to trade him, that would be fascinating, because that would be quite. And sorry, you were kind of cutting in and out, but I think I understand what you're talking about now. Like, they're shaking up pieces of the roster,
Yeah, this roster doesn't. I mean, I miss Dodo. Dodo would have been perfect with these two. I'm being for real, but his legs aren't what they were last year. He's been a little bit slower. It could just be that he's wearing down. I mean, everyone forgets this team went to the Western Conference Finals and played a crap load of games, and they played hard minutes, man. They were playing 40-something minutes a game, him and Reggie. I mean, so that was rough on them. I mean, that's not – you don't just – you just don't go from not doing it to then, okay, now I figured out how to do it. You know what I mean?
Yes, I am. I do understand. Wow, we got a ton of people in here now.
So I can hang up and listen, man. But like I said, I have some stuff to say, but honestly, I'm just excited for the potential that this has for the Mavericks, and then
I will tell you that my initial reaction to all this is that the full gambit of possibilities is on the table. We have 180 degrees, 360 degrees, whatever the hell. Like, the range of outcomes for this team are now wildly all over the place. Whereas before, I could kind of see, a first round exit, maybe if getting to the second round if they were lucky. So I don't know what to.
Yeah, now you still got 3 first rounders for, and like I said, you might just get a first rounder back for Christian Wood and still have 4. You could do that.
Well, thank you for coming up and hanging out.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right. Ethan in the chat. Great joke. LeBron to Dallas next season. LeBron's pissed, so I got to enjoy that. Okay, coming up next, my man Steven. What's going on?
Hey, Kirk. I was literally grading quizzes when this news broke, but I'm trying to think. So in terms of like what the Mavs can do next, because there's no way they could be possibly done. Like, they still need another ball handler, a defense-minded wing, or center. I'm kind of wondering, just spitballing here, do you think they can make some type of package for Shake Milton and Matisse Thybulle, who they had interest over the summer, to help strengthen up, where it's kind of getting you're getting some needs that you need. But also I'm trying to think with Kyrie, and if everything does go well, does this just open up so much more for Christian Wood now that he would be like the third guy?
But Kid and Wood are an interesting mix in that I just don't think Wood's ever going to give Kidd what Kidd wants from a backline defender, and that's
this is just assuming he's still here.
Yeah.
Like for all we want
so,
to.
I mean, I like the concept. I mean, our man Seth Partnow in the chat says Thibault is very available now, but Thibault is missing the shooting gene for a basketball player, and the Maverick. I don't know.
True. I'm just kind of wondering if Thibault was an option, then it's like the shooting around him can make up for like his deficiencies in that area. But I don't know. It was just an idea. But yeah. So it's just now I'm just kind of wondering what's the next domino going to be, and if they already traded one first round pick, do they kind of already just think like, let's just send them out and just like try to build up something now?
I don't know. I mean, that's where like. If you move past my sort of general disinclination for Kyrie as a player, because the game-to-game stuff, the drama, et cetera, you move past that. The Mavericks everybody that quite reasonably points out that like every single player the Mavericks would go for in the coming years is distressed in some way, shape, or form. Now, it's whether that level of distress is your personal appetite is for each person to decide on their own, but I mean, pushing in all their chips on a Luka Kyrie thing is it's really fascinating to me. And it is really scary.
No, I'm
sorry.
It is. It definitely is. Because this could blow up like really quickly. But
it could blow up immediately.
But at the same time, if it goes right, then they have the best backcourt in the league, arguably, right? Like him, Kyrie, and Luka. It's just hard to find something that matches that.
Well, certainly fun, man. It's gonna be gonna be weird, and I do think that there's a lot of juice to the idea of we've been wanting something different. Well, this is certainly fucking different.
Definitely, for sure. So thanks again, Kirk. So we'll happy to hear what other people.
All right, we'll talk soon. Have a good one. Woo! Busy room. Let's go with Mo. How you doing, Mo? Like that photo choice there of the outside the American Airlines Center. Find the mute button there at with the app, and we'll see.
Hello.
How's it going?
Yo, what's up, Kurt?
Welcome to the room. What do you got for us?
Man, look, all I gotta say is I think now, like when you look at the West and like how mid it's been, like every team has been so close. But do you feel like now with Kyrie, like our ceiling is like our floor? Like, what do you think our floor is now? Like, if Kyrie hoops the way he's been hooping?
The way he's been hooping has been really good. I mean, with KD out, they've actually gone like 4-7, even though he's put up numbers. But the question is, how do he and Luka work together? And then the immediate question I have is, how long is Luka out? Sorry, I got a phone call. The overarching problem is, how long is Luka Doncic out? Because, he's missing the Jazz game. And if he comes back, I don't know, do they bench him? Do they rest him until through All-Star break? I mean, if you have Kyrie and you sneak one of these games and you get through All-Star break where you're like 1 to 2 games either within or above 500, you feel happy. But I think that's got to be the play, where you go into the second half of the season, like the final 25 games with some rest. So that's what I'd be looking forward to that one. Jack in the chat says the reporting makes it seem like he's back for the Clippers game, meaning Luka. Yeah, and he says he's being reevaluated tomorrow. Thanks, Harris. So we will see. Ronald in the chat wants JJ Redick's producer Jason Gallagher to come back in here and give his take. I will shoot him a text message. That's not a terrible idea. All right, we're going to go to my guy Jose next. How you doing, Jose? You just ended 77 Spaces, which I would have joined had I not been sitting in a baby shower.
You're good. I didn't record it. I did want to just do an impromptu, get everybody's live reactions for Kyrie, because I was like, I was with some family in my living room. I came back into the room and people were tagging me, and I was just like, oh shit, what is happening? I immediately see the Woj bomb, and then I'm like, oh no, I got to start a space. I got to talk about Kyrie and what this means for the Mavericks. And considering that we gave up a 2029 first round pick, this to me seems like Nico is going to make some more moves before the trade deadline. We have until Thursday. We gave up arguably one of our better defenders on this team, but I think Josh Green is ready to step in and fill his void. I think Josh Green is now the heart and soul of this defense going forward. And then, I think we definitely need to upgrade our center position. So give me Naz Reid, give me Jared Vanderbilt to come in for the Mavericks. And I think we got something special here. Kirk, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm not really. So you and I talk about this frequently. And by the way, since you probably didn't see this in the chat, a guy Tad in the chat said Jose, the best sports voice and was the best voice for sports in my life. So you have a fan club, Jose. I like that the 2029 pick terrifies me for long-term reasons, but 6 years is 6 years. We'll worry about that if the world hasn't collapsed. And I don't know if they make any immediate moves, but the fact that it still frees them up to do something in the coming off season is interesting to me. You and I talked about Tim McMahon's take that the move where you move Dorian and you send something is kind of the beginning of your all-in thing, because the rest of the Mavericks salary that they have on the roster, think it's like Josh Green, who they'll probably extend, which means you can't trade him. Then it's Reggie, then it's Tim, and then it's who else? Like Dwight Powell, I guess, is coming off. There's Maxi's extension. There's not a lot of big salary piece movers. So if you do something else, it probably has to be in that range of a guy that's more of a middle tier, which is fine with me. I want new guys that have, that fit roles. The superstar thing has driven me nuts for a real long time because I just think it's very hit or miss. But, this does open them up to different options. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, most definitely. And I just want to see the Mavericks get a real center. Like I said, Naz Reid or Jared Vanderbilt, I think those are guys that are going to be moved at the deadline. Naz Reid is even walking in free agency. The Timberwolves got themselves and they pick one. I also want to say thank you for the compliments down below in the chat. But man, my phone has been blowing up.
Oh, it's bad. I don't like Kyrie as a concept and as a player, and people are checking in on me like I'm dying, and it's no, I'm fine. Will I be mad at some point if the things that I am concerned about come to pass? Yes, but today is not that day. He'll come in a great mood. He'll probably score 45 in his first game because Kyrie's a savant, and everybody will be real excited, and that's good because you should be excited. If you're happy about this, I want you to be happy about this. A number of people are asking me, can I be? I'm tired and done with this team. And I'm like, my kind of response to that is, if you weren't done with this team for some of the other shit that's happened the last 5 years, I don't entirely understand this one. That's where my head is.
I also want to say with Kyrie, this honestly is looking like a steal, Kirk. We have his bird rights.
But would you want to pay him this much money? Can we get into that a little bit? Because that's the terrifying part. We already did this with Porzingis.
Well, I always say this about paying players their money. I'm not paying them. Sure. Mark is. So Mark needs to feel confident, but also Nico. I think it was Woj that reported that Nico and Co have already started the process of extending Kyrie. I could be off on that. It could have just been on some Twitter bullshit, but other than that, I don't think they make this move without consolidating and thinking about, what are we going to do with Kyrie's contract?
Whew. I don't know, man. What a wild and weird day. Thank you so much for joining, and plug where we can find your stuff.
All right. So appreciate that, Kirk, that assist. I was on We Talk Mavs YouTube. We talked about.
Oh, that's right. I like that.
we talked about DeAndre Ayton potentially coming to the Mavs. I wasn't so big on that, but anything is possible. No Kevin Garnett, but I was on their YouTube channel. You can find it at We Talk Mavs, and then you can find me on Twitter at ParadoxKiller23. We do 77 Spaces, a pregame show where we recap the last game and we transition into the game played that night. Also in the off season, we did interviews with Kirk, Dalton, Mavs Outsiders. We did a plethora of.
Get a little spicy in the off season because we all get a little bored.
Yeah, and then Rolo also contacted Grant Efseth for a off season interview as well. So he already has that drawn up, and I'm trying to figure out where we go from there. But that's where you can find me. And thank you, Kirk, for.
Today's episode is brought to you by Cars.com. With over 2 million vehicles and 50,000 more added every day, Cars.com will match you with the perfect car for you, your budget, your life, your style. And if you're ready to say goodbye to your current car, Cars.com will get you an instant offer to cash it in. Just start by entering your license plate and get matched with a local dealer who will write you the check. So whether you're looking to buy or sell, just go to Cars.com. It's magical.
All right, man. Talk soon. All right, coming up next is everybody's favorite, and he's just, and I mean this because if you like Xavier, you love him, and if you hate Xavier, you also love him, which is part of his charm. Xavier, how are we doing on this ridiculous Sunday?
Cognitive dissonance, Kirk. That's the word of the day. But look, most of my disdain for this move is for Kyrie, who Kyrie is off the court. But if we just focus on the court, I'm not gonna bash anybody for trying to talk themselves into it because look, Kyrie is the type of talent that when he's on and when he's playing well, there are few players in the league like him, right? The problem is in Brooklyn, he literally had everything he could have wanted. He had a co-star who he had a personal relationship with. He had a coach who literally had no control of the locker room. The organization as a whole, it was pretty much Kyrie and KD pretty much running the show and doing whatever it is they wanted. And even with all that in his favor, it still wasn't enough for him to actually be accountable to the team, right? So Kyrie has shown that it's going to be about Kyrie first and foremost, and he doesn't care how good of a situation he's in. I mean, he was in a great situation in Boston, right? That could have been a title-winning team. He was in a good situation for what all the things he was looking for in Brooklyn. It still wasn't enough for him. So I just don't want fans to talk, well, the relationship with Nico. Oh, Kid was his favorite player growing up, so he's definitely going to be fine here.
I hate that stuff.
It's foolishness. So look, the talent, you can talk yourself into the talent very easily, right? You can tell me, look, Kyrie, Luka, we got Reggie. When Maxi Kleber gets healthy, hey, that's a good starting four. That's a good team for the playoffs. Now, if we just saw the center situation, as Jose alluded to, now we're cooking. But here's the problem. You can't trust Kyrie, right? Somehow this is more of a gamble than the Porzingis trade was. And I didn't think that was possible.
Do you listen to the GOAT podcast with Andrew Sharp, former Sports Illustrated writer? He of the Sharp Tech podcast now. Do you listen to that one with him and Ben Golliver?
No.
So listen to this. This is what we're in the fun part. I don't care if people can yell at me. This is my take. This is his take. He said this before the trade, that it would be incredible for the Lakers to let Kyrie go to the Mavericks because nothing would push Luka Doncic to the Lakers faster.
Right.
And I'm so mad at him for that because like I don't agree. It just pissed me off.
No, and look, here's the scary part, right? We're gonna have to pay him, right? So the worst thing is that he just keeps his head down. He shows some flashes of brilliance, and we talk ourselves into a big money extension. The problem is we're not going to be able to put any kind of partial guarantees or any incentives that are tied
just
to
like
games
we did with
played.
KP, just like we did with Porzingis, where we're like, "Here's all your money, sir. Thank you."
Exactly, and that's the problem, right? We should have protected ourselves with Porzingis, and we didn't because we didn't have the leverage. And if you think we didn't have leverage then, buddy, we have no leverage
None.
now. What are we going to possibly say to Kyrie? Because if he can just walk into the Lakers could easily make max cap space in the offseason. He can walk right into a later play with LeBron. So if we don't give him everything that he asked for, he's gone.
Yeah, the Mavericks
right?
got
And
off none of the Mavericks got off none of their bad money.
So at this point, it's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't.
Yep.
If it doesn't work out, look, in a vacuum, did we give up a ton? No. Dodo, I love Dodo, but he plateaued as a player. He is what he is. And Spence, it's Spence. I love Spence.
Well,
Spence.
so let's talk about that for just a second. I think Dorian was on his downward slope in the same way Bob Covington was when he started getting shipped around. So the fact that Spencer at one point before the Porzingis trade last year was considered such a negative asset. So to move Dorian kind of near peak value and Spencer, who was at one point a negative asset, and a far off first round pick for Kyrie Irving on paper, to me, looks excellent. Now I'm seeing all sorts of different reads around this because the question was going into today, who was going to make a trade for Kyrie Irving? And all you need is one team. And the flip side of this is that, of course, it is our team. This is just, it's going to be, the season went from being kind of boring and me being tired of this shit, to be quite honest, to where now I'm reinvested for a variety of reasons.
And last thing, because I know there's a bunch of people that want to talk, so I won't be too long-winded. I think Zach Lowe summed it up the best. When you look at the teams that were interested in Kyrie, the Clippers, the Lakers, the Mavericks, it's because we're the most desperate teams in the league, right? Sure. We don't have the ability to be patient to wait for something better to come down the road because, let's be honest, we don't have assets that are going to land us the next big superstar. We could easily be outbid on the market. So, again, it's the deals that we probably had to make. But it's just such a gamble because there's so little security. And it's just like when you're toying with Luka Doncic's future, I don't want to be invested. I don't want to that's like having all your money in Bitcoin and thinking that you're going to get rich. It's like, could it work out? Could you become a millionaire overnight? Yes. But chances are you're probably going to get burned and you'll end up broken on the streets. But anyway, I'm going to write something on my flight to Vegas tomorrow because I really need to flush this out. Because honestly, it's cognitive dissonance, man. Like, part of me, I talked myself into the basketball aspect of it. But it's so much deeper than that, and that's the scary part,
It is. All right, man. We'll talk soon.
All right, Kirk.
All right. We've got a whole host of folks, and I'm trying to get to everybody, so please be patient with me. Okay, coming up next is Dancer Spinwitty, who, friend of mine, we've had some disagreements and discussions, and really need to know what your take on this situation is, because I know you're a big Spencer fan, so talk to me. Talk to me about why, what you're thinking. Got to find the unmute button, first of all. You there, Dancer? Give him a second more, and then we're going to move on to the new one. All right, Dan, so we'll bring you up here in a little bit if we need to. Let's go with my man, Tyler. Welcome, Tyler. How are you?
I'm good, Kirk. How are you?
It's a Sunday. We have a new team. Apparently, some of my friends are buying me a Kyrie Irving jersey.
Interesting time. So thanks for bringing me up. I especially right now, I just called up because I wanted to follow Xavier. I loved what he said. I 100% agree with everything that he said, but that brings me to the question of if the Lakers are the only real team bidding against you, why are we giving up that much? And we still have the problem of only two ball handlers. So that's my question.
Right, you mind hitting mute because we're getting feedback.
Sorry.
It is so easy to second guess. Still getting feedback. There we go. It's so easy to second guess picks and stuff once you see the trade. I think what the Mavericks decided is that now was the time to move. That's really what it comes down to, because they're probably going to lose tomorrow in Utah. They'll be one game over 500. If they're able to get him on the team, and if they're able to get Luka back on the team before All-Star break and rack some wins up in this, they're sitting near the top of the dog pile. It is the middle of the West. That's just what they have to be thinking. And they're not, the player element of this probably wasn't going to change. It was the pick element, what happens there and when, the Nets were going to demand Dorian Finney-Smith. So that's where I am. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I just, I agree. That's all I really have. Thanks, Kirk.
Sure, bud. All right. Yeah, and then the feedback stopped there because, of course, these apps are so wonky. Let's go with my man. Let's go, man. So many folks. Sorry, Simon. Welcome. What's up? Thanks for waiting.
Yeah, thanks, Kirk. Thanks for having me again. I guess first I want to do kind of like a postmortem for Dorian and Spencer.
Love that. Good idea.
Starting with Dorian, for all the guys' limitations, he became exactly the player the Mavs developed him to be. He did everything that was asked of him in his, 6.5 years that he was on the roster. And turned himself in from an undrafted guy to a guy who was playing 40 minutes a night in the conference finals. So I think he, pretty much got everything, out of himself and everything that the Mavericks wanted out of him. So well wishes, Dorian. Spencer, like you said, he did come in as like sort of a negative asset, but having said that, he was a major part of the best Mavericks moment since 2011, which was that Game 7 in Phoenix. His flurry of three-pointers coming off the bench really put that game away before Phoenix had any chance to get back in it. So, which is an invaluable contribution. So he's going back to Brooklyn. I saw he already tweeted. He seems pretty happy about it. So, so there you go. I guess my big question for this trade is I don't really see Brooklyn's incentive to do this particular trade.
They wanted to get some sort of value, and the fact that where they are in the East, they need bodies. You cannot waste a Kevin Durant MVP caliber year, even if he's hurt right now. Well, that's got to be all of it.
Yeah, I think that's what they did. They at this point, the only reason that they were a contender was they never really had the depth of the other great East teams, but they could match up, in terms of talent and firepower when Katie and Kyrie are both there. If you look at the other top teams, like Philly, they have Harden should have been an all-star, but they have two all-stars. Boston has two all-stars. Milwaukee, who knows I don't know what's going on with Middleton, but they have Holiday. All these, Cleveland has an explosive backcourt, and now really outside of Kevin Durant, the biggest indictment of Spencer to me is the fact that his presence on the court wasn't enough to prevent Luka Doncic from getting double teamed at half court. Like teams really still had no problems doing it, even when Spencer was out there. I think that's going to be one of the biggest things with having Kyrie on the court is that practice is going to cease.
And if it doesn't, like there's one perk in my opinion to Jace. Kyrie Irving is going to do so well in the lack of offense the Mavericks have because he's the world's like one of the most creative freelancers with the ball, and so for him to get in these 4-on-3 situations, ooh brother. I'm sorry, like if you can get a Luka Kyrie pick and roll, Christ on a cracker, that's going to be something to see.
Well, what I've always said about Kyrie is he is the most complete under 6'2" scorer that's ever played in the NBA. There really isn't a single area on the court that he can't be effective from. He can even post up. He obviously his left hand is spectacular going to the basket. He shoots threes. He shoots free throws well, like another caller mentioned earlier. He's great in the mid range. So offensively, this is gonna be a formidable team. And obviously, I think somebody said earlier that they don't know how Christian Wood fits in this picture. I think Christian Wood he's going to be maybe the biggest beneficiary out of all this, because if Luka's handling the ball on one side and Kyrie's on the other side of the floor, then where does that leave Wood? That leaves him right in the middle to just, go down the lane, roll down the lane, get deep seals, and have one-on-ones against mismatches.
Yeah, it's going to be that elements of it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes.
We will talk soon. You have a good day, okay?
Man. Yep. Thanks for having me.
Because someone will yell at me about it later. But that's okay, Simon. All right, let's go with Jordan. Jordan, how you doing?
Hey. So this was not the way I wanted to wake up to my Sunday afternoon nap.
Of course not.
But, quick thoughts. Offensively, I think it also, everybody's talking about how great the offense is going to be. We still have Tim. So I just don't think that those open shots are going to be there for Wood and for the other people. So because Tim's just going to take them and miss them. So that's like, calm down, everyone who's saying that the offense is going to be good. Offensively, I do think we have some advantages, but I just think we have to go all in. That 29 pick being unprotected, having no protections on it, means that we decided that this is the way to get Luka a championship on this contract. So I think we've got to trade the other two picks, maybe even Hardy. I would like to keep Green, but we've got to get something else, because this can't be it.
The challenge that this is a kind of a semantics question, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't think Morris has played a ton for the Nets this year. So you traded 2 starters for 1 starter for a team that we had been bitching about not having enough depth. So if you're a person like Jose earlier saying, asking me if I think they're going to make another move, that sort of factual layout of information would lead me to believe that, they kind of need to figure something out. But, once you get to playoffs, maybe the Mavericks, post All-Star break really, if they think Maxi's healthy, maybe they really do just play like 7 dudes again.
Yeah, I mean, that maybe
more
I feel
Frank
like we have
minutes.
to do
Jeremy,
trade.
how dare you?
Actually, with Kyrie, Frank might actually work, because he would be.
Don't talk your snow. We're not doing. I will take a lot of Kyrie thoughts. I'm not taking any Frank thoughts.
What you said that about Morris. So I'm an identical twin. And I text my brother when this happened, and I was like, we traded for Kyrie, Irving, and basically the U of basketball. So the worst twin. So that's pretty much how we did this. So yeah, but I just think we have to do something. We're going to have to, I don't know if it's Ayton or it's going to be another distressed asset. It seems like, because that's the only thing we can get. I just am really confused who we were competing against. If we wanted to keep competitive, I'm confused why we couldn't protect that pick.
The Clippers.
That's the real thing. That's just
there was a Clippers element of this that I think maybe the Clippers could offer some different players, and like that. My understanding, and granted, let's just be clear, my understanding is limited because I kind of go out of my way to not know stuff. Is that they were kind of quietly becoming the team that was really considering making a bid, because
Man, it just seems, I don't know, the unprotected aspect of that makes me worried, because if this goes bad, that means
it ought to. It does, but it's also 6 years from now to where, we can look back on this day in 2029 when, the Mavericks turn over the first time they've ever gone up in the lottery ever to someone, and we'll have to worry about that.
Right. Because that'll be 6 years from now is when we won't have Luka or Kyrie on the team.
Yeah.
So that's just delightful. So anyway, that's a cheery way to end. But
well, thanks for hanging out, buddy. All right. We're going to get to as many people, and the list keeps growing longer. Chris,
hey, Kurt.
Speak your piece.
So all the stuff we've gone through this season with the Mavs, hell yeah, let's just do this. Because like you said, it's better than what we've been seeing all year. Just lackluster. Spencer Dinwiddie's not great on defense. I think Finney Smith has regressed on defense, maybe even his three-point shot. Screw it, let's do it. My concern is, Kyrie is an unrestricted free agent, but this summer the Mavs they're going to offer a 5-year deal You
4
think?
year.
I mean,
I think it's 4.
But if he's an unrestricted free agent, could they offer him a 5-year deal? Or
No, I don't think so. There's something to do.
I was just saying the Mavs compared to other teams, like the Mavs could offer him that extra year.
Oh, I'm not sure.
That's what
Kyrie is an old 30 though. So right now all the reporting indicates they're not going to do any sort of extension because you can only do a 2-year extension.
Yeah, not until the summer.
In the offseason. There's not a lot. They can discuss stuff, but everybody's reporting this is not a thing right now. And the reason, and if I have any concerns, it's that Kyrie was basically not going to play for the Nets if they weren't. And so has he just changed his mind about that? I mean, he does. He changes his mind all the time.
Well, what's the difference though? Because let's say the Nets didn't offer him an extension. Well, what if the Mavs? I mean, we traded some assets. Obviously, we're going to have to offer something. We're going to have to offer him a contract, and I think Kyrie knows that. But what's the difference? Do you think? Because
I don't know if that's the case. I really don't.
Because at least we're in the present.
It could be a terrifying rental.
Yeah. But I mean, if Kyrie wants that bag, it's not just from us, but the Lakers or whatever team this summer would offer him a contract. I mean,
the Lakers don't have any cap space to do it. So the Lakers are out. Like, he's not going to be a Laker because they traded for the guy that was the Wizard. Rui Hachimura, and they're going to have to sign him, re-sign him. So.
Okay, I gotcha. Okay. I mean, if there was another team out there that would offer him something, they're going to be checking out to see how he's going to fare with the Mavs. I mean, at least we have him we're going to make the playoffs. I mean, the West is not deep. I don't know what they're going to do with Christian Wood. I mean, if they still held on to him, it was kind of risky, but I don't know. Wood, Luka, and Kyrie, and then Josh Green's gotten better. I kind of like it. So I don't know. I think Kyrie's going to show up for us. I hope I think we all hope and pray he does, but it's a matter of time before there will be drama. But I don't know. That'd be kind of cool if we just go ahead and just win a championship, and after that, whatever.
Well, I mean, like not to be me, but the Mavericks don't have the defense to win a championship.
Yeah, that's another thing. Obviously, we got a few more days left till the trade deadline, so please get rid of Tim Hardaway Jr. Just get somebody on for a defensive player. Is there anybody in mind? I mean, maybe Anunoby, or isn't Toronto trying to move on from him?
He's going to require more. He'll require more assets than Kyrie. So, yeah, but I mean, Kyrie's like the ultimate. Nobody knows what's going to happen. So.
But I'll let somebody else come on. But 6 years from now, that draft pick, we're not worried about it. I mean, anything can happen between now and then. Yeah. And Luka had to obviously sign off on this, so
that's right.
So he knows what we're all possibly in store for. So, but I'll let somebody else come up, and let's just hope and pray everything works out okay.
Oh goodness. Yep. Thanks so much. Talk soon.
Yes,
okay, coming up next, Joshua. How we doing? Welcome to the show.
Hey, Kirk. Thanks for calling on me.
I try to call on everybody if I got time. What?
I'm thinking a few things. First off, I'm looking at the max cap, salary cap space teams, and the Lakers aren't on that list with or without Russell Westbrook. So we're not competing against them. We are competing against the mighty, mighty Charlotte Hornets, the Detroit Pistons, the San Antonio Spurs. So those guys could probably challenge us for Kyrie, but something tells me that Luka Doncic is going to be better than anything that is on any of the teams. And maybe it's just because I think Luka is arguably one of the best players in the NBA. Maybe he's number one in somebody's minds. I have him at number 3, but whatever. Like, he's incredible. He's going to be like the version of Kevin Durant that doesn't get injured that Kyrie thought that he was going to get. I'm psyched. I don't know what everybody's worried about. I know that's a 2029 first-round pick, but, like, God damn it, if we can't trade anything in the future to, like, get better now, Kyrie is better than Spencer Dinwiddie. I don't know, like, where, like, people are with that. And I heard about Dorian Finney-Smith, but I watch enough Mavs games to think that Josh Green is a more than adequate replacement. Like, is it really just the first-round pick that's 6 years from now?
I mean, value's all over the place with Kyrie because, you don't know when Kyrie could wake up tomorrow and decide he's going to retire from basketball. Like, I wouldn't put anything past Kyrie Irving. Like, a year ago this time he was talking about Ramadan and how he was fasting, and then 75 days ago he was talking about how he, basically confirming that he's now a Black Israelite. Like, the range of outcomes for Kyrie is across the board. He could become a lockdown defender. He's actually been a pretty good defender this year. Like, he could score 60 points his opening game because he's bored. He could also be like a 3 of 17 and then get mad at Jason Kidd and Mark Cuban. Like, I don't put anything past Kyrie Irving.
But
And
isn't that, can I just follow up then? Isn't your point sort of the point then to focus up on, right? If anything can happen, right? If all the possibilities are on the board with Kyrie, well, then the possibility for us to not re-sign him is still like there. If things really go south in the half a season that we have him, well, you took a risk and it didn't pay off, but welcome to the world of NBA. More than likely, if he's like anything that he's been all year in Brooklyn, or he's any kind of motivated to get that 4-year max contract, which is the only piece of consistent reporting that we've had all the way like through last offseason and this offseason, which they wants to be extended and wants to get a max and blah, 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 blah. So if he's that interested in that, what do we have now? 20 games left, 30 games left? Like, this is the window. This is it. And like, the Mavericks made the Western Conference Finals last year. They lost 4-1. And I find it humorous that on the same day that we make this Kyrie trade, Steph Curry goes down and is expected to be out way past the All-Star break. Yeah. This isn't good news. I mean, like, this isn't like something to be excited about. We have to worry about 2029. We're in the middle of 2023.
I mean, it would like as a Mavs fan, not having something ridiculous to worry about wouldn't feel natural.
Right. So. Sorry. Thanks for calling me. I'm very excited about this. I don't think that it's nearly as bad as
I'm glad you're excited. No, you should be. I'm glad you're excited, Josh. Thank you for coming up and hanging out. Yeah, it's funny because sports just causes people to react all sorts of different ways. My high school friends group chat, everybody's really excited about this. Mavs Moneyball Slack is a little all over the place. I think everybody's worried, so we'll see where we are. Coming up next then is Adam. How you doing?
Hey, Kirk. My feeling about this hasn't really changed that much since a few days ago. I think the best case scenario for the Mavs is Kyrie can be a combination of Brunson and Seth Curry, two of the most effective role players in the last 5 to 6 years for the Mavs. He's a dude that can be a spot up shooter that's shooting 40% from three. When Luka gets him the ball, he can create his own shot. He can get other people involved. He's, as you mentioned, he's great at improvising. I think this is kind of the best possible. I think that's the best case scenario for the Mavs. I think that's possible. I don't think. I think like the previous caller, he gives you more than what Spencer was giving you.
Spencer can't
Spencer
pass.
And Dorian
he doesn't see passes. He is a shooting guard.
When he's hot, he's hot. But when he's not, like you can tell within the first five minutes of the game. For the Mavs, I think they can get to the 3rd or 4th seed in the West, and at that point, anything is possible. I think this also the other effect that this has that nobody's really talking about. This kind of sets a balance of the hierarchy for the Mavs to be better. It pushes Christian Wood into his natural position of being the 3rd offensive option. He's not a second offensive option we've seen this year.
No, that's
and ultimately, like for the Nets, I mean, from the Nets perspective, this just shows me that they have no confidence that Ben Simmons can be a reliable contributor in a playoff rotation. Dorian is basically their substitute in the starting lineup for Ben Simmons. And, from a Rockets perspective, if I can give that real quick, I think Joe Tsai may have just saved the Rockets front office their jobs by ensuring just the demise of that organization over the next 5 years. And those treasure trove of picks going to the Rockets, I think Joe Tsai is not built for the NBA. Joe Tsai is built for autocratic Chinese companies. And he doesn't know how to deal with modern day NBA players, and he should have never bought an NBA team.
It's a great take. That's mean but funny. Thanks for joining us, Adam. All right, coming up next, we're going to go to my man Tyron. How we doing? Give Tyron a second here. Tyron, we desperately need your take. Find that unmute button for us. All right. Tyron, come back up here in a minute and we'll bring you back on stage. Sometimes the app just doesn't work. Then we're going to go to my friend Lyndon, who has takes. I know he has takes. What's happening, Lyndon?
Hey, Kirk. Can you hear me?
I can. Sounds like a CB radio. This is great. What's going on?
I'll be quick. I just don't actually think this is a good idea. I think this is Mark Cuban just, this is his way of team building. Did you see Tim McMahon's tweet about how if it doesn't work out, the Mavs will have close to max cap space? That nugget was so important to me because I'm like, that's Mark Cuban. That if Kyrie leaves,
Plan powder forever. Thank you, Brian Zillum.
Like, did you see that? I couldn't believe Tim McMahon tweeted that with like a strip with like.
Oh, he knew. He tweeted that shit with a grin. McMahon is nothing but is nothing if not an amazing.
Yeah, because I'm like, oh wow. If I just think, okay, Luka signed off on this, but I think pairing Luka's 23 or 24. 24?
Yeah, 23, right.
Pairing Luka with a 30-year-old guy who legitimately, outside the Black Israelite, anti-vax, Muslim stuff that's going on, Kyrie also just doesn't play a lot of games. He has a bad knee. He's had multiple surgeries, leg injuries. Kyrie is like a small guard. He's 6'2". He's not a big guard. This is the wings league where wing defense is important. Kyrie thrived with LeBron, but prime LeBron was someone who was a lob threat, who cut off ball, who anchored a defense. I personally think this is like a cute trade, but giving up Dorian Finney-Smith, in the grand scheme of things, I agree with your point about how Dorian Finney-Smith doesn't actually matter that much. It's more sentimental.
I love him. I'm going to miss him. I'm going to think fondly of him.
But he's a good wing. That's it. He's just a good wing. He's not an all-star level wing. But I just think that if the plan is Kyrie could possibly, which he can, Kyrie will always lie. He showed it. He'll look at you in the face and say, I'm not leaving, and he'll leave in a heartbeat.
Yep.
If Kyrie leaves, where are the Mavs, Kirk? Where are the Mavs? That's
We're going to be back in here, and I have a list, okay? Because I am a petty motherfucker. I have a list of people who have told me I'm wrong about all this Kyrie stuff. So what will happen then is I will be reading everyone's takes and yelling at everyone and demanding apologies.
And when they offer Kyrie this 4-year, $250 million deal, my final statement: how much better is Kyrie Irving than Jalen Brunson today, Kirk? How much better?
They're such different players. Did
you watch this Brunson against the Clippers? How much better is he?
I don't know. I did not watch that game, no. Was he good?
He was phenomenal. Jalen Brunson was phenomenal against the Clippers. Phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean...
this is planned powder against her.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's a certain extent of me that I have to play a bit of a role because no one, Nick Angstadt was talking about this today on Twitter where it's like, no one wants to hear the Mavs front office sucks all the fucking time because it's not fun to listen to. And then they do something interesting. I mean, because it is interesting, whether it's good or bad, it's definitely interesting. I don't want to lead with my initial take that I hate it. Understanding that I hate it. I just have to at least give it a chance. I owe that to everybody who listens and who wants to watch the Mavericks,
I think the fit is cool if the NBA playoffs didn't exist. If this was the Premier League and we're just doing win as many games as possible and then you raise the trophy, fine. If the playoffs didn't exist, you can't have any credible defense, with all due respect where you have people like Dwight Powell, Christian Wood, Luka Doncic, Tim Hardaway, Kyrie Irving. That's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And I think that this whole plan is actually crazy. And Kyrie is 30 years old. A 32-year-old Kyrie Irving will not be as much value to a 26-year-old Luka Doncic who will be fully blossomed and looking at a Kyrie Irving on the decline. I just think, and this is my last thing before I go, I just think, Kirk, can we please get into how bad ownership is in Dallas? This is 10 years of just completely disregarding the draft. And we can't even say it's a Donnie Nelson thing because Donnie's gone and you're trading away a first-round pick for a guy who could leave this summer. That's stupid, man. That's stupid.
Appreciate the flames, Lyndon. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, man.
We're going to try to bring Tyron back up again. I got to find him in here. Tyron, let's go.
All right, my bad. As soon as you called me up, I went and trying to get dressed. I'm about to leave right now.
I'm sorry.
No. This is perfect timing, just like this whole Kyrie Irving trade. First off, I got a question for you. What's next? Because, I mean, the trade deadline is Thursday. I personally don't feel like this is the only move that they make, solely because there's still bad contracts and money that they can get off of, or they need to get off of, I should say. Do you see any future moves before Thursday?
Well, the Dallas Morning News, Callie Kaplan, says the Mavs aren't done yet, but the cynical person that I am remembers buckle up and all that horse shit from previous off seasons when the Mavericks went out and did nothing. So it would be wise of them to continue to try to shake things up. So I expect they will try. Now, execution is the question, because the takes on this trade range from the Mavericks drastically underpaid to the Mavericks drastically overpaid. They didn't really have any assets to begin with. So what more are you giving up to move pieces around? Are there other teams that are in this kind of morass where you could move players and pieces and say, okay, this is what's going to happen next, where we just kind of trade our parts for other parts? Do you know what I mean?
Right. And see, that's okay. So that leads to my second question. I'm more of an X's and O's guy when it comes to basketball.
Too, even though I don't really know those either. But like transactional shit, I lose my mind.
Yeah, it makes no sense to me whatsoever. So with Kyrie's current, money now on our books, what can we financially go get before Thursday, if anything? Just throw some names out there.
I have no idea. Hopefully people will start sharing some takes and see what we can get. Our man Dalton Trigg is always good for that.
Okay. All right. Now my hot take. I like this move because it's something new. It's something fresh. And my hot take is the same people who are talking shit about this trade are the same people that were saying Jalen Brunson is trash. The same people that were saying Christian Wood is trash. Same people that are now saying Kyrie Irving is trash. I don't agree with the off-the-court shit that he's done, but let's be honest. I know it's been forever. I listened to your last Mavs Moneyball late night this morning while I was at work. So you're right. He hasn't been the same player in the last couple of years. But hell, he's better than what we've got. And it's a move in the right direction.
If he's focused and wants to play, he'll be a positive contributor.
Oh, my God. If this works out, it's really going to work out. You know what I mean? And if it doesn't, it doesn't. You know what I mean? And that's, to me, that's fine. I'm just glad that we finally made the move. But God, yeah, I'm hoping that he's really dialed in, because we got to remember he said he wanted to come to Dallas, hours after he declared for the trade. He said that. So hopefully he's got his shit together. He's ready to come out here and play basketball, because, again, if this works out, it could really work out. It opens the doors for a lot of things going forward.
Yeah.
And I'm honestly excited to see what happens. So
my friend Matt Moore in the chat and says, if it doesn't work out, that's fine, is what Celtics and Nets fans said. And I love that pushback, because I think we have to talk ourselves into this. We don't have any other choice. I don't plan on spending my time That's not true. I plan on spending plenty of time bitching about this, but today is not that day.
I mean, because look at it. We've been bitching about DeLon Wright in the past. We bitched about Josh Richardson in the past. Like, Jesus, come on, man. Kyrie. I'd rather bitch about Kyrie Irving than any of those guys. The last
Well,
half
he's going
of
to
the
give me an ass ton of content. I'll tell you that much. Because
the rest of the season is going to be guaranteed entertainment, like 100%.
It's going to be. It's definitely. It goes from being like it's definitely not boring. That's where we are right now.
No, I'm just ready to see the first headbutt between him and Mark Cuban. That's all I got to say.
Great. Yeah. All right, Tyron. Thanks for joining. All right, coming up next, my friend Tyler. Tyler, I hope you share this take. I hope you find the unmute button, and then I hope you share this take that you just gave with me.
Yeah, I'll lead up to it. So
yes, tell the story. Okay, let's go.
I think everybody's been beating the same drum, so I'm gonna, do some backtrack history. So everyone knows Nico and Kid's relationship with Kyrie, that's established. But what I will point out is a month ago, Luka's dad came to Dallas, and then Tim McMahon had a report that, he wanted more help. And then I believe a couple weeks later, Spencer Dinwiddie talked a bunch after the Mavericks lost to the Wizards about how
went on some podcasts, seemed kind of offended.
Yeah, he said the Wizards, weren't a winning team after the Wizards beat the Mavericks, and Kyle Kuzma, rightfully went after Spencer on Twitter. And then also their stretch without Dorian Finney-Smith and the emergence of Josh Green. I think, those events are kind of what led the Mavericks to, throw the dice and make the move. But my theory that, you wanted me to talk about
is a great take.
I would say that, he's already been run out of one locker room, but clearly the Mavericks, their vibe and demeanor is much different this season from last season. I mean, you can see that with the defense alone. And my hot take is something has stunk in the locker room this season. Most people think it's Christian Wood. Most people think maybe it's Jason Kidd, but I think it was Spencer Dinwiddie. And maybe this trade was more about getting off of him than acquiring Kyrie.
God, this is the perfect Mavs discourse take because it is utterly unprovable and yet fits. Because I talked about this when we got Spencer last year, where I was like, man, he's just the kind of guy that rubs coworkers the wrong way when things aren't going right, because he says the quiet part loud, and he's not quite good enough to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's no disrespect to, what he says is wrong or anything else. It's just when, you're the second or third best player on the team and, Luka's the number one guy and you're bordering around 500. I would say it's tough to command a lot of respect in that situation. And then also when he was walking to him, when he said everybody was playing for themselves when they were 10 games under 500, it's tough to say the hard truth.
Love it. This is the perfect hour into the podcast take, because only lunatics will listen this far, and it's the kind of people that really, because now we can just kind of wonder. There's all sorts of factors at play. Things are never as straightforward as they're reported. This is a good one. You got anything else for us?
I would say, obviously, when Kid coaches, when Luka doesn't play, he's pretty non-vocal. I mean, he's basically Mike McCarthy on the sidelines, just standing there. I'm not saying he's a bad coach, but, he's obviously not a vocal guy when Luka's there. And I think that's what Kyrie wants. I mean, he said on a podcast he didn't really want a coach, and maybe Jacques Vaughn's hard style of calling guys out like Ben Simmons himself wore on him. And who knows, maybe Jason Kidd's the perfect coach because he won't say anything to Luka or Kyrie.
Love it. Thanks for this, Tyler. Great addition to this point in the show where everybody's getting a little tired. So we'll talk soon. All right. Let's see here. Coming up next then is my man, Ewan. Sorry, you've been waiting forever too. We just got everybody, we're going to have 45 people speak by the time this is done. What's going on?
Hey, Much, how you doing?
I'm weird today. What about you?
I see you got a lot of people in the chat, man. What's your record?
We had 900 last year after after KP,
playoffs.
and then Mark Stein joined my room once, and there were 10,000. That was wild as shit,
gotcha,
though.
gotcha.
Like that was it. This is like Mavs hardcore right here. This is the family.
Yeah, I just the last take wasn't that bad of a take. You think about it, because it's like, you come off sometimes as arrogant. Like, if you're supposed to be that caliber of a player, like third best player or technically the second best player, like you have to be better. You can't lose to a team that's 10 years under 500 and go sit at the podium and say, see all that stuff. You got to be better. You got to play some defense. You have to make better passes. Like, you have to be better. So it's like Luka probably, them games that Luka's out and he see how he runs the team, or when Luka plays and is on the bench and he see how our offense sucks when he's on the bench. He's probably like, yeah, I mean, I can't deal with this no more. You know what I'm saying? So that wasn't a bad take. I could see that being true. I could see that being true. And with the Kyrie trade, I'm happy about it. I was tired of disrespect, tired of Kuzma, these other players saying that they only have Luka, there's nobody else on their team. Like, aren't we tired of that? Aren't we tired of people like that? Was becoming like that was disrespectful, And in the same sense, it was true. We don't respect nobody else on our team other than Luka. You know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't. That's how they treated us. That's how they treated trapping Luka from half court, trapping Luka 3/4 court, like trapping Luka the whole game, because they didn't respect no other players on our team. And that is not going to happen. That's not going to happen now, because Kyrie's going to eat you alive. And Kyrie in the mid-range is pretty good. We always ask for, some other players that have, like, some in-between games. I can hit some jumpers in mid-range and whatnot. And Kyrie's great at that. He's great at finishing, fast break, toughical shots. Listen, it's going to be great. Fourth quarter time, listen, you want to double Luka? That's on you. He's not scared in the moment. When he's out there, he's not. You see how when the game starts with Spencer and Luka, and Spencer, like for those first 7 minutes, you feel like Spencer's not playing. I'm pretty sure you're not going to feel that way with Kyrie. Kyrie's not going to be shy. He's not going to be scared to attack. He's going to do what he got to do. So I'm just happy, like you say, for somebody new. I'm happy that we honestly won't get disrespected. And it's like, you can see all the tweets from all the players around the league. They're like, they know the potential of Kyrie. They know, like, a healthy Kyrie and what he's going to do paired with Luka, how that's going to be dangerous. And honestly, I think a lot of teams are going to be scared of dealing with this duo when they face us. So,
well, thank you for hanging out. I appreciate the take. I'm glad you're excited.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay. Guys, I have to go relatively soon, so let's fly through, 3, 4, 5 people. Brian, Zillum, you've been waiting a while. What's up?
How to lose Luka Doncic in one trade, the title of my memoir. Like, okay, I will try to speed through this because Kirk, you know me, I'm not a goldfish. I remember things. Irving stuff off the court, that's a whole gross conversation I'm not here to have. But Kyrie and Kevin Durant actively wanted Steve Nash as a coach. He had the perfect situation laid out in Brooklyn, where, mind you, he'd already left Boston, right? Already left Boston. So he had everything at his fingertips and still burned to the ground. I'm going to put you and Matthew over, because last night you guys, towards the end of the pod, advocated, what was the theme of the Mavericks last year? It was vibes, right? Vibes. And you had said, oh, well, vibes and a new personality only goes so far as carrying a team. So we went from really good vibes to having potentially the worst cancerous basketball player of all time in our locker room. That doesn't really make sense to me. And who is going to keep Kyrie in check? Like, we have to depend on locker room leader Dwight Powell, who's going to be an all-time break games played for the Dallas Mavericks at some point this season. Good luck with that. Just absolutely good luck. That's just, can't see that working out. And who's going to hold Kyrie accountable? No one. And I want to push back a little bit on what I believe that Xavier said earlier. The Mavericks didn't give off that much. Well, you actually actively gave up arguably one of your best defensive players, and you still have shitty contracts. You did not get off Bertans, and you did not give off Tim Hardaway Jr. And you essentially acquired Morris, who is only playing about 10 minutes a game this season. Don't know if that means he's stinky, because I know there's been points of the season where the Brooklyn Nets need warm bodies. So that tells me he's either no good or, maybe he's been injured. I don't know. But only playing 10 minutes a game, 6 minutes here, 7 minutes here, that's a Theo Penson type box score.
God, we didn't trade Theo Penson.
Yeah, and actively, right? So you still have the exact same problems you had with Spencer. If Luka or Kyrie get hurt, you still have the exact same problem. You're going to have Josh Green at point. That's your solution, or you're running Frank as your point. And to me, what people are missing, the bigger point, I don't think anybody's discussed this, Kurt. Vibes and continuity with this roster matters. It absolutely 100% matters. Look at last year, and you've blown that up. It's gone, because this guy's going to come in. He might come in 7 games from now and say, I'm retiring from basketball. It's a possibility. If people are happy about this, good for them. I'm happy for you if you can set aside all of his bullshit and his just shenanigans as a human being. I'm telling you guys, this is not going to end well, and I can't pretend in my Mavericks shade glasses this is going to work out, because this is going to be an utter fucking disaster as a move, and we have nobody to blame or thank, but state of Mav media, I guess. I don't know, because
no, nobody. Shut up with that. You got that's a terrible bit. It's beat up.
I know. Well, I mean, I suppose.
What if I had to work for the Mavericks? Jose says vibes are overrated. Man, I don't think so. That's a fucking take.
Vibes are not overrated. So
yeah, vibes also got us to the Western Conference Finals, Rob.
Yes, exactly. So, and then also you're asking Kyrie to stay healthy. He has knee issues. Why?
That's the health stuff for him. He's a not. The health stuff is actually the interesting thing that's going on, in that he doesn't have injury problems as much as he has freak fucking injuries. He has weird injuries. So
yes, super weird injury. And then one last thing, what's going to be amazing is when you have those possessions when Luka and Kyrie both loaf on a possession as there's a breakaway dunk happening, because a pass, they miscommunicate on a pass, or something happens or maybe they're both yelling at a referee. I don't know. And I do feel like there's only certain NBA players that can magically come into a new situation and it be like magic.
Yep.
If by Kid's philosophy, right? What has Kid been preaching the entire time? Defense. So if Kyrie's just giving guys blowback by layups, I expect him not to play. Give him the Christian Wood treatment.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm sorry for rambling a little bit, buddy, but I just hopefully I got off some different stuff people haven't presented yet. But you have a good one.
Talk soon. Okay. Now we're gonna go to my man. Wait, I need folks to fly here. I have 10 minutes. Colin, I'm trusting you to be fast with this takes. You keep yelling at me in the chat about it. Colin, welcome. What's up?
All I'm gonna say is shout out to you Mavericks fans for taking Kyrie. You know what I mean? Boston was sick of making him look like a fool every time we played him. But, enjoy him. It's not going to do much because Boston's winning this thing anyway. So that's all I got to say.
Boston, damn good basketball team, man.
Oh, you know it. I mean, listen, ever since he stepped on the logo, they haven't beat us. You know what I'm saying? So the game, because the last game he played was against the Celtics, right? And I'll read you a quote that this is your guy now. This is what he said, right? He said, I'm not going to stop until I figure out what this mythology is to the Boston Celtics right now. Well, he stopped pretty quick. You know what I mean? So all I'm saying is as far as you guys go, it isn't going to matter, because if he sees us, he's seeing a ghost. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate you, man. Thanks for stopping by. See, Kyrie inspires such hate that a guy from a team that he played on 2 teams ago was hung out in a green room for 40 minutes so he could get up on stage and be like, this guy fucking sucks. Okay. Juan, you've been waiting. What's up?
Hello? Hey, Kirk, can you hear me? Hey, thanks for putting me on here. Just really quickly, I'm excited about the trade. I'm ready for the second half of the season. And it does make me think that if the Mavs if they were going to re-sign Jalen Brunson, he was going to be part of this deal. I think this deal still happens with Brunson in the team, but that's just something for me to think about. But I'm really excited, and let's see where we go from here.
I'm glad you're excited. Thanks for hanging out and listening and waiting so long to talk. All right. Let's go next to Christian, stalwart.
Hey, buddy. So I'll be quick. I'll end up talking myself into it just based on purely talent-wise. It's a great backcourt. Again, purely talent-wise. I feel like it's a KP trade 2.0. Like, I feel we're doubling down on that strategy of someone that is a star or a star potential that we can get at a discounted rate because they have a ton of baggage. And we got bit by it once. We had been so careful of not including a first-round pick to really reestablish our assets. And so I don't know. I just feel that it's going to end the same way as the KP trade for different reasons. But we were basically 6 months away from all of our first-round picks basically being replenished, and we just had to go and do this. So I'll end up talking myself into it. It had honestly been a chore to watch this team this season. Like, I'd rather deep clean my house. So at least it'll be something, I guess, to look forward to. But I feel like it's, doubling down. But appreciate you bringing me up.
Yep. Thanks, Christian. Okay, coming up next is my man Nav. You're not happy about this one.
Terrible trade. It's gonna be bad at some point. We don't know if that's gonna be today, 6 months from now, a year from now, but very short-sighted move by the Mavs. To me, it just highlights how desperate the team was, and also how much pressure they must have been feeling from Luka and everything. But that's all I got.
Thanks,
not
buddy.
happy about it.
Talk soon. Okay, coming up next is Mr. Falk. How are you?
Good. How are you doing,
Great. Thanks
Kurt?
for coming up. Great. Thanks for coming up.
Yeah, I love the Arrested Development tweet. I feel like I've seen that one 3 times in like the past 3 years with Mavs related stuff. But I honestly believe that like this is similar to what the last guy said. I feel like if we don't win this year, it's just like a rental. Like he's probably gone. I know McMahon absolutely hates Cuban, but I think there is some truth to what he said. And I guess I'll see what he does against the Clippers Wednesday, but I'm going to give it 15 games before I say I'm out.
Fair enough. All right. Thanks, man. Talk soon. Now we're flying. Grayson, what's up?
Hey, Kirk, how are we doing?
We're doing well. What do you got for us?
I am very, very kind of confused by this trade.
Come a little closer to the phone. Sounds like you're going to win.
Sorry, I'm unpacking my my apartment right now because I'm about to move. But this kind of gives me flashbacks to the horrible Rajon Rondo trade, where at the time of the trade, I was over the moon because of just the player that he was, and then quickly realized how terrible it ended up going. And I kind of see this being like that. I think there's going to be good moments, but then at some point he's going to be fed up with Cuban or someone, and he's going to ask out. But at least it's somewhat better than, what we have currently. But I'm now worried that the only real wing that we have on our team is Josh Green. And this is kind of a wing league now, and I don't really see where we're going to get another wing. The last thing I'll say, I know you need to get going soon, is I think that we should be going after Josh Hart from Portland because our defense is about to be just an absolute train wreck. So appreciate it, Kirk, and I'll talk to you soon.
Like the Josh Hart add in. All right, talk soon. Okay, let's keep it going. Keep it going here. Austin, what's up? Give Austin a second.
Hello. Sorry,
Hello.
I was muted.
How you doing?
Yes. So I wanted to get your thoughts on the Mavs defense and if this trade is something that can really propel them into championship territory. You look in the last team to make the finals that wasn't a top 20 defense in the regular season. That was the 0-1 Lakers, and the Mavs are currently 24th in defense and just traded away their best defender. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Trading away the best defender is the tough part. Like, I think it opens the door for Josh Green to play more. I also think the Mavs sort of might have sold high on Dorian Finney-Smith because I think he's looked really, really beaten down. I hope I'm wrong, because I think Dorian's a really fun player. So that's where I sit with that. Got anything else for us, Austin? Or did I miss any part of the question? I'm sorry, answering text messages.
No, that was it. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, we might actually get through everybody. Jason, what's up?
I'm unmuted. Okay.
There we go.
I'll be fast here. I'll talk myself into this trade, honestly. I will, but I hate this. Like the Clippers game will be fun. He'll score like 40 or something. It'll be amazing. People will be thrilled. But then, I don't know, 10 games into this, he'll just look off the team, blow it up, and then the team will be doomed. We'll see.
Later, buddy. Okay, coming up next then, Gordon. Gordon, keep us moving. I got 5 minutes.
Okay, I'll try and make it quick. Just trying to spread a little bit of positivity here. The takes on this isn't going to work out. I just want to remind everybody that it works out once a year for one team, and everyone else is complaining about how their front office fucked it up, right? Like, that's what everyone is doing. Since the Mavs last won a championship, it's like Giannis wins it. You have Giannis and everybody else in the league basically gets hurt. Kawhi wins it when everyone on Golden State gets hurt. And other than those two teams, it's been Spurs, Golden State, or you have LeBron. Like, pretty much. It pretty much doesn't work out for everybody all the time. It is not easy making these decisions. I do think that this is a good move, if for no other reason than we have a bad hand before this trade. I don't know that we're better, but we needed to reshuffle the deck. So I like it.
Appreciate it. I like the take. Thanks, Gordon. Okay. Let's go to Oliver. What's up?
Hey, Kurt. First time calling. I'm from the UK, so I don't ever really get on
Oh, I'm
these.
sorry. I tried to bring first-time callers up earlier. I thought I recognized your name. How you doing?
I'm undecided. I'd have happily traded for Kyrie, just not for Spencer, just because I think we're still at to square one with only two guys who can dribble the ball. But it'll be interesting. One of my best friends is a Celtics fan. He said stay clear. So I'm not too sure it's going to work out.
Well, the thing about it is that it hasn't worked out for anybody. It worked out for once in 2016, but even before that, Kyrie was a malcontent with the Cavs. He was a malcontent the next year. He was happy with the Celtics for about 6 weeks, and then it's tough. It's tough.
It is. It's tough, and we'll see what happens in the future. But I wouldn't be surprised if Luke has gone in 3 years. But we'll see what happens. I do think they make another move though, because you can't have THJ on this team with Kyrie playing the same minutes. It won't work. It just won't work. And I'll be interested to see what they do with Wood as well. I like Wood. I think he's a good player, but we'll see. Anyway, I'll let you get going. Thanks, Kurt.
Thanks so much. Okay. Adrian, what do you got for?
Hey, Kirk. I'm with you. I think this is terrifying, but at the same time, I think we had to do this. How many years have we been waiting for the front office to actually move on from our role players? We always get too attached to them, and I think this is actually quite encouraging to see that this front office is able to move on from role players in order to upgrade the talent in the roster. I think this is a golden opportunity for Josh Green to continue to develop. I think he can replace DFS quite easily. And the only thing I'm worried about is this summer, if Irving and Wood don't resign, that will mean having lost two first-round picks for nothing. So that would be the most brutal scenario here. So, yeah, fingers crossed that doesn't happen and this Kyrie experiment goes well. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Talk soon. Okay, last but not least, we got a late entry here. Hope I'm saying that right. Find that unmute button there at the bottom of the thing.
Hello, are you there?
Yes, we are.
Are you there?
How's it going? What do you got?
I think this is the most pre-2011 championship move the Mavs front office have made in a long while. And I'm kind of excited about it. Not because I think that it's going to work, but because I think that like pre-2011, we kept getting people like Antoine Walker and Antoine Jameson and all of this crazy crap. And we were like, what the hell is happening? But it showed that the front office was like, we've got to take moves to get Dirk a championship. And sure, this might backfire, but at least it symbols a little bit of a change from what we've seen the past few years with the front office, where they were too conservative. And I'll get off.
I like that take. Thank you so much. That's a good take to end on, I think. Okay, great time, 90 minutes. Woo boy, we're going to be in for a weird end of the season. Thank you so much for spending time with me today on your Sunday. Please consider going and subscribing to the Mavs Moneyball podcast feed. Hop over to Mavs Moneyball. I have probably 5 pieces that we're going to be writing over the next 24 hours and putting up about all this. We appreciate everybody spending time with us, and I am grateful for your support, and we will talk in a couple of days. Go Mavs.